Asterisk I let a girl move into my apartment for free. She said she was in college. She wasn't. And that's just the beginning. Asterisk I'm 28. She was 22 when we met. I honestly thought I was in love. We met through a friend at a housewarming party. She was bright, sweet, full of that chaotic young energy that makes you feel like life isn't just spreadsheets and gym sessions. She said she was in college, working on her degree, and I just believed her. I didn't even question it. Why would I? I had a good job at the time. Stable. Decent pay. I wasn't rich, but I could cover the bills and a little more. She moved in after 3 months. That should have been a red flag, I know that now, but when you're lonely and someone makes you feel seen, logic kind of shuts off. It felt good to come home and have someone there. Someone to cook for, talk to, sleep next to. We laughed a lot in the beginning. She'd tell me stories from class, and I'd nod along, completely in the dark. I paid rent, food, her car insurance, even gave her money for books and gas for her commutes. I never saw any textbooks. Again, stupid, I know. But she always had some story, some stress, some emotional plea that made me want to help. And I genuinely wanted to be the guy who supported his girlfriend through school. It felt noble. Adult. I'd wake up at 6, go to work, hit the gym, come home, and she'd either be gone, studying with classmates, or passed out watching Netflix. On weekends, she had group projects. She rarely invited me anywhere. I figured she just needed her space, you know? Not everyone's love language is the same. But things started to feel off. Once, I came home early from work. She wasn't expecting me. Her car wasn't in the lot, but her class should have started 2 hours later. I called, no answer. I checked Find My iPhone. She'd shared her location with me once when she got lost downtown. She was nowhere near campus. She was across town. At a house I didn't recognize. I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to spiral. But once that seed of doubt was planted, it grew fast. I started noticing the lies. Little things at first, a wrong date, a story that changed slightly the next time she told it. One night she said she had a midterm. I casually asked what class. She froze. Then spat out something generic like econ. She wasn't even a business major. That night, I checked her Instagram from a burner account. She had a private second page. There she was, drinking with some guys, partying, captioned with inside jokes I didn't recognize. I scrolled further. Same pattern. Different nights. Different cities. Comments from dudes I didn't know, with little flame emojis and hearts. She was living a completely separate life. She wasn't in school. She never was. When I confronted her, she didn't even deny it at first. She tried to spin it. Said she felt trapped in the routine. That I was too intense. That she never asked for my help, which, technically, was true. I offered it. But it was a bullshit excuse for months of lies. I kicked her out that night. She cried, screamed, begged. Said she had nowhere to go. That it was just fun, that it didn't mean anything. That she did love me. But I was numb. I watched her pack her things, and I felt like I was watching a movie. Like I'd woken up from a dream I didn't know I was in. After the door closed behind her, I stood in silence. I don't know for how long. It felt like someone had scraped out my chest and left a hollow echo where my heart used to be. After kicking Emily out of my apartment, the silence was deafening. The first couple of days I wandered around the place like a ghost. Her stuff was gone, but little remnants remained, her coffee mug in the sink, the scent of her shampoo in the bathroom, a lone hair tie on the nightstand. It was like living in the echo of someone else's lie. I couldn't stop thinking. Not about the cheating, that part hurt, sure, but more about how deeply I let myself get manipulated. I remembered paying her tuition, asking how her classes were going, genuinely supporting her future. Turns out, the only thing she was studying was how to lie better. I stopped going to work for a few days. I told my manager I had food poisoning. In truth, I just couldn't face people. Couldn't pretend to be okay. I barely ate. I slept like shit. My body felt hollow. The gym had always been my safe zone, so I forced myself to go back, hoping I could sweat the poison out. But even there, I felt off. No music helped. No set felt heavy enough to numb the spiral in my head. I think my trainer, Marcus, noticed right away. He didn't say anything at first. Just gave me space. But a few days in, after watching me fail to finish a basic workout, he pulled me aside. "You good, man?" he asked, arms crossed, voice low but steady. I don't know what it was, maybe it was how grounded he sounded, or the fact that he didn't try to sugarcoat anything, but I broke down. Right there. Middle of the weight room. Told him everything in this low, choked up voice while trying not to make a scene. He just listened. He nodded through all of it, then said something that stuck with me. "You trained your body to take hits. Time to train your soul to get back up." Marcus wasn't a therapist. He never pretended to be. But every day after that, he checked in. Not with fake concern, but with small things. A shared protein shake. A harder workout. Making me focus on breathing, on form, on being present. He didn't coddle me, he pushed me back to life. One afternoon, maybe a month after the breakup, Marcus caught me looking toward the entrance more than usual. He smirked. "Expecting someone?" I shook my head, embarrassed. "Thought I saw someone from my building," I lied. But I was expecting her. Emily. I'd heard from a mutual acquaintance that things had gone south for her. Apparently, one of the guys she'd been seeing kicked her out. She lost the fun apartment she was crashing in. Even her parents stopped taking her calls. So yeah, part of me expected her to come crawling back. And she did. 3 weeks later, she showed up at my door. I just finished meal prepping, the apartment finally felt like mine again, smelled like chicken and rice instead of her perfume. She looked rough. Messy hair, makeup smeared, eyes puffy. I didn't invite her in. "I messed up," she started. "I didn't realize what I had. You were the only person who actually gave a damn about me." I leaned against the door frame, arms crossed. I let her talk for 5 straight minutes. Tears. Apologies. Promises. And then I told her no. I didn't yell. Didn't curse. Just said I'd spent enough time cleaning up after her mess. I wasn't her safety net anymore. She cried harder. Tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. "Please. I don't have anywhere to go." "I think that's finally your problem to fix," I said, and closed the door. That night, I slept like a rock for the first time in months. I didn't expect to see her again so soon, not like that, not standing in the middle of the gym like she owned the place, arms crossed and staring at me like I was the one who owed her something. I was halfway through my workout when I noticed her reflection in the mirror, just standing there by the entrance, not even in workout clothes, just that same old hoodie of mine she used to borrow and never give back. For a second I froze. My grip on the dumbbells slackened, and all the noise of the gym dimmed out like someone hit mute on the whole world. I felt that old knot twist up in my stomach, that same sick tightness I had every time I caught her in a lie but didn't want to admit it. I put the weights down and turned to face her. "What are you doing here?" I asked, not angrily, just tired, real tired, and she gave me that little smirk, the one she used when she thought she had the upper hand. "We need to talk," she said. And I shook my head, already walking past her. "No, we really don't," but she followed me, loud enough now for people to hear. "You think you can just erase me? After everything?" I stopped near the bench press area, trying to keep my cool. People were watching. I hated that. I didn't want a scene, not in my safe space. "You erased yourself," I said quietly, "the moment you decided honesty was optional." But she kept going, louder, accusing me of abandoning her when she was at her lowest, saying I never gave her a chance to explain, and that she wasn't even cheating, just needed space. All the classic gaslighting phrases, and honestly it was exhausting. I felt my fists clench, but I didn't want to give her that satisfaction, and then suddenly, like fate tossed me a lifeline, there she was, Ava, the girl I'd seen a few times in the gym, headphones in, always focused, had this calm energy about her. She was standing nearby and apparently had heard enough, because she pulled her earbuds out and stepped forward. "Hey," she said, addressing my ex directly, "this is a gym, not your personal drama stage, maybe take it outside." My ex turned on her like a switchblade. "Excuse me? Who the hell are you?" And Ava didn't flinch, just folded her arms and said, "Someone who respects boundaries, maybe try it sometime." And I swear, in that moment I felt something shift, like the balance of power tilted back in my favor. Ava gave me a look, not pity, not concern, just support, the kind of look that says, "You okay?" without asking it out loud, and I nodded, grateful beyond words. My ex, fuming now, muttered something under her breath and stormed out, and just like that the tension evaporated. I exhaled for what felt like the first time in 10 minutes, turned to Ava and said, "Thanks for that." She shrugged, "Didn't look like you wanted the help, but you definitely needed it." I laughed, maybe a little too loud, and something in her smile made the gym feel warmer. "You want to grab a coffee sometime?" I asked, still catching my breath. She paused, then nodded, "Yeah, I'd like that." And just like that, what started as a disaster turned into something else entirely, something unexpected and maybe even hopeful. We sat across from each other at a small coffee shop just down the street from the gym. The awkwardness of the whole gym incident still lingered in the air, but Ava's calm presence made it easier to breathe. I thanked her again for stepping in. She just smiled and said, "Nobody deserves to be spoken to like that." That stuck with me. We started talking, not just small talk, but real conversations. I found out she was 22, just moved to the city from Oregon, studying graphic design and working part-time at a bookstore. She'd been coming to the gym for about a month but kept to herself mostly. I told her about the whole story with my ex, probably overshared, but she listened without judgment. Her eyes didn't show pity, just understanding. And she didn't try to offer solutions, which was new for me. We ended up talking for over 2 hours. That night, I walked her to her place, just a few blocks away, and when she got to her door, she turned and said, "Hey, I'm glad we met today." I felt something shift in my chest. Something warm. The next few weeks, we started seeing each other more. Not officially dating, just spending time. Gym, coffee, walking through parks. I didn't feel pressure to impress her. I didn't feel broken anymore when I was around her. One night, after we'd grabbed some tacos from this hole-in-the-wall place she loved, we ended up back at my place watching a bad action movie. Halfway through, she leaned her head on my shoulder. I froze at first, unsure, but then I relaxed into it. It wasn't about moving fast. It was just about feeling okay again. Being wanted, without being used. And I could see in her eyes, she wasn't trying to fill a void in her life, and she didn't want to fill mine. She just wanted to know me. Slowly, without drama, without lies. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe. Not ecstatic, not in some movie-type romance, just grounded. And that felt like a miracle. A few months passed and what started as casual meetups became a quiet kind of rhythm between us. I didn't even notice when the line blurred, but one day I caught myself telling a coworker, "Yeah, my girlfriend made that," pointing to a little doodle Ava had left on a sticky note in my lunch bag. It hit me in that moment, we never had a conversation where we made it official. It just happened, naturally, like the way seasons change. She started spending more nights at my place, and I started rearranging drawers so she had space. We cooked dinners together, watched stupid YouTube videos on the couch, argued over which cereal was superior. I never thought happiness would look like her stealing the covers or yelling at the TV during football games, but here we were. My ex, though, didn't stay gone for long. It started with a message. Then a missed call. Then another. I ignored them all. Until one day, she showed up again. At my apartment. It was like déjà vu, her face, the same pout, the same manipulative sadness in her eyes. She said she was going through a lot, that nobody else understands her the way I did. I didn't even let her in. I told her I had moved on. She cried on the doorstep, begging. Ava wasn't home at the time, and I was thankful for that. The last thing I wanted was for her to see that chaos. After my ex left, I blocked her number. I thought that would be the end of it. But she kept popping up. At the gym. At the grocery store once. It was always coincidence. I didn't want to scare Ava or drag her into the mess, but eventually she noticed I was more on edge. One night, as we sat on the balcony eating takeout, I told her everything. Her face went quiet, not scared, but serious. "Do you think she's dangerous?" she asked. I shrugged. She was manipulative. I don't think she's violent. Just, she doesn't like being ignored. Ava nodded, then reached across the table and held my hand. "We'll handle it. Together." It was the first time I realized I wasn't alone in this anymore. Things escalated quicker than I expected. One Saturday morning, Ava and I were finishing up a workout when I saw her, my ex, walking straight through the front entrance of the gym like she belonged there. She never worked out a day in her life, yet there she was in full gym gear, fake smile painted on like she wasn't a walking red flag. I froze. Ava noticed. "Is that her?" she whispered. I just nodded. Before I could process what was happening, my ex walked up to us and started talking like we were old friends. "Hey. Wow, long time. Didn't know you worked out here." I could barely respond. Ava stood beside me, arms crossed, watching silently. Then came the passive-aggressive comments. "You look good. Healthier. Guess someone's finally taking care of you." She looked directly at Ava with that fake innocence. Ava raised an eyebrow. I tried to de-escalate. "We're in the middle of something. You should go." She didn't budge. Instead, she turned to Ava. "I'm just trying to check in. He and I have history. I'm sure you understand." Ava took a step forward. Calm, but firm. "He asked you to leave. I don't think you realize how creepy this is." My ex scoffed and muttered something under her breath before storming off. Everyone around us was pretending not to stare. That night, Ava and I sat on the floor of our living room, drinking tea in silence. She broke it first. "She's not going to stop, is she?" I shook my head. "I don't know. She's like a storm that won't pass." Ava leaned into me. Then we boarded the windows and waited out. Together. She always had a way of calming me, of grounding me without trying to fix me. But something changed after that day. I stopped flinching every time my phone buzzed. I stopped feeling like I owed my ex anything, not pity, not a conversation, not closure. I told myself, she's the past. Ava is the future. And for the first time in a long time, I meant it. A few weeks passed without incident. No texts, no random appearances, nothing. For the first time in months, things felt normal. Ava and I fell into a rhythm, morning workouts, work, evening walks, sometimes just lazy Netflix nights with takeout and her legs draped over mine on the couch. We were good. Not perfect, but steady. Safe. One night, we were watching a movie when she paused at mid-scene and turned to me. "Have you ever thought about kids?" I blinked, caught off guard. "I mean, not seriously." "Why?" She smiled, nervous but excited. "Because I missed my period." I sat there for a second, staring at her, brain buffering. "You think you're pregnant?" She nodded. And suddenly I wasn't scared. I wasn't overwhelmed. I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, peace. We took the test together. And then another. Both positive. Ava cried. I held her, speechless but smiling. That night, I lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling. My mind went back to the days I used to spend wondering if I'd ever feel normal again, ever feel like life was moving forward. And now here I was, with a woman I loved, building something real. I wasn't naive, I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was ready. A few days later, we decided to tell her parents first. They were more excited than I expected. Her dad even hugged me. Her mom cried. It felt surreal. We didn't rush anything, but we started making plans, doctor's appointments, budgeting, talking names. Ava liked old-fashioned names. I liked ones that felt strong. We compromised, laughed, bickered. It felt like the most natural thing in the world. I never thought I'd be a dad, especially not after everything. I used to look in the mirror and see someone broken. Now, I saw someone healing, slowly but surely. Not fixed, but growing. And Ava? She was the light in a place I thought would stay dark forever. Ava's belly grew, and so did our life. We moved into a slightly bigger place, nothing fancy, just a 2-bedroom apartment with enough sunlight in the mornings to make the kitchen feel warm. I picked up more freelance design work to have some extra income, and Ava reduced her hours once she started getting tired faster. We bought baby clothes, a crib, those little socks that make your heart melt just by holding them. We painted the nursery ourselves, mint green walls with little clouds we stenciled and painted by hand, laughing when one of mine looked more like a sheep. One evening, I got a DM on Instagram from an account with no profile picture. You think she'll stay when she finds out what kind of guy you really are? My stomach dropped. I knew it was her. Jess. I blocked the account. Then another popped up a few days later. This one sent a picture of Ava and me walking through a park, taken from a distance. Cute. She won't be for long. That night I didn't sleep. I didn't tell Ava. I didn't want to scare her. But I felt that old tension crawling up my spine again. I'd fought so hard to put those days behind me. I changed our route home, started parking in different spots, even walked around the block a few times before coming in. Ava noticed. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Just tired," I lied. One morning, Ava came back from getting groceries, pale and shaken. Someone left this on the windshield. It was a note. Just one word, run. I called the police. They couldn't do much, no direct threat, no clear suspect. I finally told Ava everything. She was furious I hadn't told her sooner, but mostly scared. We spent that night locked in silence, sitting close but saying little. The next day, her parents helped us install a camera by our door. I changed my number. I deleted social media. Ava asked if we should move again. I wanted to say yes, but I also knew running wouldn't stop someone who didn't want to be forgotten. So I stayed alert, and slowly, the messages stopped. Maybe she gave up. Maybe she found someone else to ruin. I didn't care. I just knew I couldn't afford to let fear run my life again. I had too much to lose now. The night Ava went into labor, it was raining. Hard. Like the world was washing itself clean. The drive to the hospital was a blur of red lights and soaked windshield wipers. She squeezed my hand so tight I thought it might break. But when I saw our daughter for the first time, red-faced, wailing, alive, I cried like I hadn't cried in years. We named her Nora. I held her against my chest and whispered that I'd protect her with everything I had. I think about the man I used to be, anxious, broken, angry at the world. That man would have folded under all this. But somehow, somewhere along the way, I changed. Not all at once. Not in any dramatic moment. But in the quiet ones, in long walks, late-night talks, tiny socks, and nursery paint. In choosing love again, despite the fear. I'm not perfect. I still wake up sometimes expecting the past to knock on my door. But now, I have something stronger than fear. I have a family. I have purpose. And to anyone out there who's been used, lied to, left hollow, you're not broken beyond repair. You're still here. And that means you can still choose something better. Subscribe, hit hit the like button and explore more fascinating stories.